and you should get to know me. I'll teach you other stuff. I'm Madeline, I may be very small. I'm Madeline, but inside I'm tall.
This is how you spell my name. M-A-D-E-L-I-N-E. And yes, I do have a puzzle that spells out my name. It's also a stool, which was very helpful when I was little because I learned how to spell my name and I could reach the higher shelves. Since this is the same spelling used in the Madeline books, I even have a smaller one right here. I got lots of Madeline stuff, like this doll, which I've had since I was an infant. And this is proof because this is my nursery and that's my Madeline doll. And this was taken 4 days after I was born, so this is pretty old. Besides this one of Madeline in her regular clothes, I also have this one in her winter clothes. She even has ice skates on. And I have this doll that had a bunch of things to wear, but I don't know where they went. A rather strange thing about the Madeline dolls is that they all have scars where their appendix was taken out. It's because that's what happened in the first book. I will explain what happened in the first book and the other books through the use of these cards because they all have the character's name and picture. So the first book starts off explaining where they live and stuff. There are 12 little girls. The smallest one was Madeline. They live in Paris with Miss Clavel, who is obviously a nun. They live in a house that was covered with vines, and they do basically everything in 2 straight lines. The house is a boarding house, by the way. Some people think it's an orphanage, but I will prove that wrong later. The second book is called Madeline's Rescue because Madeline is very brave, and she gets into all sorts of mischief, and she falls off a bridge into the water. So then this dog named Genevieve jumps in and saves Madeline, so then they adopt Genevieve. I also have a plush Genevieve. I know it just looks like a brown dog, but you should trust me because it really is Genevieve. I also have this board game where you have to save Genevieve's puppies because they all got loose in France, and you don't want loose puppies in France, that's sad. So then in Madeline and the Bad Hat comes along Pepito, whose parents are Spanish ambassadors. Pepito is a bad hat because he has a hat and he's really mean. He does lots of jerkish stuff. Finally, he takes this cat in a bag and he surrounds himself with dogs. Then he lets the cat out of the bag so the dogs will attack the cat. But instead, the cat jumps on his hat and the dogs attack him. So then he goes to the hospital and there Madeline turns him good. So then they're friends. So then Pepito has to go to London because his parents are ambassadors and they travel all over the place. But when he gets to London, he really misses all the 12 little girls, so they're invited to come to London for his birthday party. And they buy him a horse. The horse escapes and eats the gardener's garden, and the gardener gets really sad. Look at the poor gardener. They ate all his flowers. Everybody had to cry. Not a single eye was dry. There was also another one where Madeline and Pepito went to see the gypsies, as illustrated here, but I can't seem to find it. And this book relates to now because it's all about Christmas. It's kind of a strange plot, but it's a children's book. There's this magician and he comes selling rugs. So Madeline buys 12 rugs for the 12 little girls so their feet don't get cold when they wake up in the morning. And the rug seller, he gets really cold without his rugs. So he knocks on the door and he's like frozen. There's the magician guy. But Madeline is really nice and she nurses him back to health. So in return, he makes the rugs magic. The girls fly around on them and they go visit their parents, which proves that they are not orphans like some people say. They are just in a boarding house. I also have 3 Madeline puzzles. I have this one, except I think it's missing a piece, and I was always hoping that this would be the missing piece. But even though it could actually fit into the puzzle, it's not the piece I'm missing. And I have this one, which I'm actually planning to do because it's shaped like the Eiffel Tower, and I think it's pretty cool. And I have this one, which is super cute, but I can't hold it up vertically because I think it's pretty cool how the pieces are all irregularly shaped, but they don't fit together right, and they fall apart. There's Miss Clavel and Genevieve and Madeline and Pepito and the bicycle guy and the flower lady and the police officer guy in the Eiffel Tower and the house covered in vines. Also in my cards was the flower lady and the balloon man. I don't know why, they just show up everywhere. One thing I really like about the Madeline book series is that they draw in actual places in France. Of course they draw in the Eiffel Tower, but they also drew in places that we learned about in French class. For instance, here you can see La Place des Concours. I think that's where they did guillotine. This is at the Les Invalides. And there's the wounded soldier too. Another thing I really like about the drawings is how they're so childlike. Lots of them really just look like rough sketches. Especially here where Pepito's supposed to be getting thinner, he just looks really strange. And while sometimes they fully color everything, other times things are just black, white, and yellow. But I think it adds like a certain charm to the books. So Madeline was basically my favorite thing when I was little. I had all the books, I had all the games, I had all the toys, and I watched all the TV. So I guess I'll ask a question. What was your favorite children's book series or movies or games, etc.? Answer in a comment or video response, but video responses are as always appreciated.
She's Madeline, we hope you have